How many of you guys also spend time scrolling websites looking at equipment that you want to upgrade to next? There's actually a term for this, and it's called GAS, or Gear Acquisition Syndrome. And I can publicly say, without a question of a doubt, that I have really, really bad gas. There are two ways to get way better sound without spending any money at all. One is choosing the right space to record in to begin with, and two is proper microphone placement. Let me explain. Before I explain, 7RYMS sent me over a microphone to give away to one of you guys, so make sure you stick around to the end of the video to figure out how you can win a microphone. In my 10 plus years as a recording engineer, I can't even tell you how important these two things are. $100 in sound treatment is worth $1,000 in microphone upgrades. A few months ago, I posted a reel to Instagram comparing the Shure SM58, which is like a $99 microphone, up against the Rode NTG3 broadcast shotgun microphone, which is like $700. And boy, did I ever get ripped apart in the comments. People were saying like,
Randy, you're such an idiot. This is like comparing an apple with a car. It makes no sense at all.
And well, I get that perspective, and the feedback is always appreciated, as painful as it may be. I think that they kind of missed the point that I was making. A better way to put that is that I failed to get my point across, which is that in a treated room, under ideal circumstances, with proper microphone placement, you can make a $99 microphone sound as good as like a $700 microphone. But to double down on this comparison, because I think it's a really important reminder that you just don't need to spend a ton of money, let's bring in my $700 microphone and shoot it out against this microphone, which I think right now is like 69 US dollars. Okay, I'm gonna be reading off the specs of this microphone here, the AU02-K1, heck of a name, by 7RYMS, and I'm gonna be randomly switching between these two microphones in post, and the idea is to see if you can hear a noticeable difference and if you can tell when I switch microphones. All right, this is the AU02-K1 by 7RYMS. It's a cardioid condenser microphone with a 16mm capsule. It's capable of recording 24-bit up to 48 kilohertz. It includes its own intelligent noise reduction, USB-C digital output, which is great for computers and smartphones, dynamic RGB lighting effects, which is kind of cool. You can toggle them on the back here. Boom, RGB, let's go. We have 3 different sound presets: podcasting, streaming, and singing. We'll get to that in just a minute. Stepless gain and monitor volume control, which is kind of nice to have. We have real-time monitoring and one-touch muting, which is great for your streamers. Comes with a metal desktop stand and comes with a professional shock mount and pop filter. Now, interestingly, I tend to avoid these metal pop filters, and the reason being is I was recording a jazz crooner one time at my studio. We heard like whistling coming from something. We couldn't figure out what it was. We eventually tracked it down to the singer, and it was coming from these metal pop filters, because sometimes if you get close to these, listen to this. Do that kind of whistling sound at the beginning. That doesn't really happen with like the nylon type of pop filters. This isn't a good example. That's not really nylon, but you know, like the circle nylon pop filters, I tend to prefer those over these metal ones. I think this has a pop filter, pop filter built into the capsule, because it doesn't seem to be popping, and I actually prefer the sound without this pop filter. Check. 3 different sound presets: podcast, streaming, singing. 3 different sound presets: podcast, streaming, singing. Podcast, streaming, singing. I like it better without the pop filter, so I'm just gonna use it without it. I'm curious to know if you guys could tell the difference between these two microphones. I actually put a little dot up in the corner whenever you're listening to this microphone from 7RYMS. So if you wanna go back to that section again and listen through and watch the dot to see if it confirms your suspicions, you're more than welcome to do that. Now, as far as the build quality goes, you're gonna be listening to this microphone this whole time because I wanna show you how it handles handling noise, because this might be on your desk. If you're a streamer, you might wanna move it around while you're talking, so this will give you a good sense of that. But if you take a listen, the capsule is actually loose inside of this ball. And I think what that means is that there's an internal shock mount as well as the external shock mount. There are a few microphones that do that. It's kind of nice because if you tap this, I actually have to tap it pretty hard to start getting some really noticeable hits. What that's gonna be great for is any slamming of your desk, any typing, moving your mouse, computer fans, all those things shouldn't transfer into the capsule too much, which is really nice. The knobs on the front, I'd give them like a 7 out of 10. They're plasticky, but they do feel pretty good. They have nice resistance to them, which I do like. The 2 tap functions on the front here, we've got them and we have the 3 different sound presets. So right now you're listening to no processing at all, Now you're listening to my podcast preset. So this is a pre-built preset that comes in the microphone. Sounds like it's taking off a bit of high end and boosting a bit of low end to make it a little bit warmer. That's kind of interesting. This here is the streaming setup, and wow, it seems to be hyping the top end quite a lot, but I guess that's gonna help you cut through if you're playing over video games or something like that. And this is the, whoa, this is the music preset with lots of reverb and no top end. That's interesting. This could actually be kind of cool if you wanted to plug your mic into your phone or something and record like acoustic guitar. Actually, 1 second. Okay, well that's kind of cool, but I don't think that I will ever use that, but kind of neat that they have it. Let me get rid of this microphone, we don't need this guy anymore. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, we've got this button on the back, which is to toggle the RGB, which is kind of nice, like if you're doing this for work calls or anything, I don't know, you really want the like disco RGB going on in your face. And we also have a headphone port on the back. Right now I'm monitoring from my interface, but you can also monitor from the back of the microphone, which is great because it's zero latency. On the bottom side, you've got a USB-C, which can actually be powered off USB-A from your computer, so USB-A to USB-C, and that seems to be working okay for the purposes of this video. Now in post-production, all I've done to this microphone is roll off a little bit of the low end and boost right around 3K, and I've also rolled off just a tiny bit of the high end just to make it a little bit less crispy. I've also put a mouth declick on my voice because I put that on all of my videos, and I've also compressed it a little bit just to make it loud enough to enjoy in a YouTube video. I just think it's pretty awesome how good of audio quality you can get for the cost of like 9 Big Macs. And this is a completely untreated room. I don't have any treatment here. I do have one moving blanket hung over here, but it's more for lighting. I guess it does help with the sound a little bit, but that's basically it. There's a carpet on the floor, but with good mic placement, good proximity, and just good technique, you can get really good sound for pretty inexpensive these days. Like a microphone for $69 10 years ago would have absolutely sucked. So this is really nice. And make sure to head over to my Instagram because I'm gonna be giving away this SR-AT10 from 7RYMS, and they were kind enough to send this over. So thank you guys so much for sending this over for me to give away. I'll be giving it away to one lucky viewer on my Instagram. So if you're watching this video, I'm probably doing the giveaway the same day, unless you're watching this later, in which case the giveaway probably already happened. Sorry, but that's it for me. I hope this video is fun, inspiring, all those good things. We'll see you later.